Scizor, the pincer Pokemon. It raises its pincers with eye-like markings for intimidation. It also swings them down dangerously. Scizor is one of the premier physical attackers in the game. It has an impressive base 130 attack stat and an amazing defensive typing to go along with it. With 9 resistances, an immunity, and only a single weakness, switching Scizor in can be relatively simple. Plus, its Technician ability works amazingly well at powering up some of its most useful moves, meaning it can really take advantage of otherwise underwhelming attacks. Interestingly enough, though, Scizor's history is not one of saturation and overuse. Prior to the 4th generation, Scizor was not used all that frequently. Though its stats were solid and its typing was great, it didn't learn very many useful moves to take advantage of them. Even prior to the release of Platinum in the 4th generation, Scizor didn't enjoy very much usage. Once Platinum came out, though, Scizor's life changed forever. A new level-up move in Platinum granted Scizor its greatest asset, Bullet Punch. Prior to Platinum, the only priority attack Scizor learned that would bypass its rather poor speed was the average Quick Attack. Though Technician does boost it, normal attacks enjoy no weaknesses, and Scizor doesn't even get a stat bonus on it. Once it had access to Bullet Punch, Scizor exploded on the scene. It ended the 4th generation as the second most frequently used Pokemon in the metagame, and to this day, it remains one of the top 10 most used Pokemon out there. With Bullet Punch in tow to mitigate its disappointing speed, Scizor can now enjoy using its impressive power to break teams wide open. There are 2 primary ways to build a Scizor. The most common set is the standard Choice Band set. Bullet Punch will rip through most frail sweepers that rely on speed to attack, thanks to the multiple boosts it receives from Stab, Technician, and Choice Band. More often than not, though, you'll send out Scizor and immediately U-turn away, dealing impressive damage to most anything and switching in an advantageous counter of your own. Scizor also has access to Superpower as a way to beat some common threats like Magnezone, Ferrothorn, Heatran, or Blissey. Finally, Pursuit is useful to trap Pokemon that you need to finish off, or other frail but speedy sweepers like Gengar and Alakazam that are threatened by Bullet Punch. Also, thanks to Technician, if your opponent does stay in, your Pursuit will increase in power as well, so using it on Scizor isn't as risky as it would be on other Pursuit trappers. The other common way to build Scizor is as a setup sweeper. Swords Dance boosts Scizor's already high attack to terrifying levels, and with its boosted Bullet Punch, it tends not to fear most speedy revenge killers that threaten other setup attackers. Bug Bite may seem like a strange choice, but with the Technician boost, it's Scizor's strongest attack. It also has the situational but very convenient side effect of eating any berries your opponents may be carrying, which can really mess with their strategies. The final move is a personal choice. Superpower is great against the previously mentioned counters, but Brick Break is another option that won't lower Scizor's attack and defense. The Choice Band set doesn't mind the drops because of its hit-and-run nature, but since this Scizor wants to stay in and preserve its attack boosts as long as possible, Brick Break might be more useful. If you're looking for a more defensive Scizor with some real staying power, giving it Roost can allow it to stick around and really frustrate opponents that can't get around its countless resistances. If you're into a more unconventional Scizor, it can actually function quite well in a baton pass chain. Your attack of choice depends on what you plan to pass. Bug Bite and Iron Head tend to work better on agility sets since the priority of Bullet Punch is not as necessary. Swords Dance sets still appreciate the priority from Bullet Punch though, so keep that in mind. Scizor has the impressive ability to pass 3 different moves that boost stats 2 stages apiece. So if you're looking for a Pokemon as part of an extended chain, Scizor's flexibility, incredible resistances, and access to Roost make it one of the best. As a physical attacker, Scizor is walled pretty effectively by many common physical walls. Ferrothorn would fear a superpower, but Skarmory and Forretress laugh at any possible offense Scizor would attempt. Even more threatening than these, though, is Jellicent. Not only does it resist Scizor's offense, It can shut down Scizor for the remainder of the match with a timely Will-O-Wisp. Other bulky waters like Gyarados and Tentacruel can use the appearance of Scizor to set up for their own sweep or set up entry hazards on your side of the field. If you use a Swords Dance Scizor, all of these Pokemon will need to be removed before you should attempt a clean sweep with Scizor. For team choices, Scizor has a number of helpful teammates that can make its life much easier. The Choice Band Scizor appreciates support in the form of Rapid Spin and entry hazards. Since it's so reliant on hit and run tactics, any damage you can accumulate from switches that your opponent cannot will go a long way to helping you win. Because the Swords Dance set is walled so easily by tough steels and water types, Pokemon that remove these threats are welcome as well. Magnezone does a great job at trapping steels until they're finished off. Rotom Wash is also a great teammate on the Choice Band set, since you can use Scizor to U-turn into it. Then when your opponent is faced with a Jellicent versus Rotom matchup, you can Bolt Switch away into yet another counter of your own. Scizor's success over the past few years is no mystery. It was always very close to being an amazing threat, and the inclusion of Bullet Punch in its arsenal launched it over the edge into glory. However, its success can also be its downfall. It's used so commonly nowadays that everyone has their own way to counter it. If you carry Scizor on your team, your first priority is to eliminate any Pokemon your opponent has that may wall it. Once those threats are out of the way, Scizor can be free to wreak havoc on your opponent and Bullet Punch them into submission. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for any future videos, leave them in the comments below. If you are interested in participating in our online Pokemon League, click the link in the description for more information.